English with Jeff.
Hello, and welcome to this second episode of Learn English with Jeff. As I'm currently en train d'apprendre le français, I'm sometimes learning new ways of using words I thought I knew. Pour et par, for example, are synonyms if you were to look them up in an English language dictionary. Both mean for. And while they sometimes have specific uses, they're other times in French interchangeable, or so I thought. It's apparently more complicated than that, which, if you're a native French speaker, perhaps you can explain in a video of your own. Les différences entre pour et par. But for me, in this moment, I'm not going to pretend to be a French grammar expert. Instead of talking about prepositions, what I want to speak of today is cultural differences baked into the words we use. So I was reading a book the other night to my daughter, and in the second chapter, I encountered a few words whose definition I knew, or thought I knew, but, well, it didn't quite make sense in translation. L'ennui, boredom. I can understand if a child were to tell a parent he or she is bored at school. But to talk about mes ennuis is to mean something different entirely, or so my wife helpfully explained. My troubles were over. Well, not quite. Because then later I read another word, exigeant, and I translated it in my head, in English, as demanding, and thought I was done. But in fact, what would have fit better is the word exhausting. It makes sense that a thing you'd have to do that is demanding could, after a time, be exhausting. But as you can see, there are two words in English that are contained in one French word. And as I thought about it more, I realized this wasn't the first time I was hearing exigeant used in a way that didn't make immediate sense to my American-trained mind. Because, to cut to the chase, after further investigation, I realized Americans, when things are hard, when things get tough, which is the Americans' preferred way to say something is demanding, they emphasize their response, this way of handling the situation, usually by getting tougher or pushing through. The French speak of things, situations, or people as demanding and are more honest. Rather than jump to the response, things are tough, but nothing I can't handle, as Americans would do, a French person is more likely to leave the statement as is. Jim is a demanding boss. He asks so much of himself. He has a high bar for everyone else, too. Or more simply still, figuring out how to navigate this pandemic moment as a parent. Whew, c'est exigeant. And you know, well, I've heard several people tell me that I shouldn't lose my American optimism, believing always that I can overcome any challenge, no matter how tiring. I'm finding it equally refreshing to realize in France, I don't have to put on a happy face. I can be honest. Sometimes, life is exhausting. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn English with Jeff. If you have feedback, or if you heard me say something you didn't understand, you can leave a comment below, or email me at the address in the show notes. Till next time.